You hear it all the time, right? People talking about the stock market, throwing around the term market cap. But what is that number really? What does it actually mean? Well, today we're going to break it all down. We're talking about market capitalization, the market's single biggest way to put a price tag on a company.
So let's start with a question. How do you measure a giant? I mean, think about one of the biggest companies on the planet. How do you possibly slap a single number on it to capture just how massive it really is?
Now, your first thought might be, look at their buildings, right? Or count their employees, or maybe just look at their profits. And yeah, all that stuff is super important for sure. But none of those things actually tell us the market's instant, up-to-the-second verdict on a company's size. Okay, so if it's not the buildings, it's not the profits, what is it then? Well, the market uses this one single metric. And honestly, it's surprisingly simple.
It's called market capitalization, or what everyone just calls market cap. Think of it like this. It is the total current price tag that the market has slapped on a company. And that price tag, it can change every single second the market is open. It's literally the collective, real-time judgment of millions and millions of investors all at once. And this right here is the key. You got to understand the market cap isn't some static number you find buried in an annual report. No way. It's a living, breathing metric. It moves with every single trade, capturing all the hopes, the fears, and the wild expectations investors have about a company's future. All of that, all that emotion, all that complex financial analysis, it gets boiled down into this one single number.
So you're probably wondering, how do they actually calculate this price tag? You might think it's some complicated formula, but it's actually incredibly straightforward.
Okay, the formula is super simple. You just take the current share price and you multiply it by the total number of a company's shares that are out there. That's it. So let's say a company has 100 million shares and they're trading at $50 each. Boom, its market cap is a cool $5 billion. Simple, right? Well, kinda. The tricky part, the real devil in the details, is in that second step.
So what exactly counts as an outstanding share? Well, it's basically every single share that a company has ever issued that's currently held by somebody. We're talking shares held by big institutional funds, shares held by everyday retail investors like you and me, shares held by insiders like the founders and executives, and even restricted shares they give to employees. The only thing that's excluded, shares that the company has bought back from the market. Those are called treasury shares, and they don't count. And this brings up a really important little detail. There are actually two ways to count. First, you've got the full market cap, which, just like it sounds, counts all those shares we just talked about. But a lot of the big market indexes, especially outside the US, they use something different. It's called free float market cap. This version only counts the shares that are actually available for the public to trade. So why do that? Well, it excludes those huge chunks of shares held by insiders or governments that aren't really in play, which gives you a much more realistic picture of the stock's actual tradable supply.
All right, so we know what it is and how to calculate it. But why is this one number so incredibly important? Well, in the world of finance, market cap has become the universal yardstick.
So why does literally everyone on Wall Street obsess over market cap? Because it does a ton of heavy lifting for us. For one, it's a super quick proxy for a company's size and, its general stability. It's also how we classify companies into those categories you've definitely heard of: large cap, mid cap, and small cap. And this is huge. It's what determines a company's weight in major indexes like the S&P 500. The bigger your market cap, the more you move the entire index. It's a huge deal.
Okay, but here's where we need to be careful. It's just as important to know what market cap is as it is to know what it isn't. And honestly, it gets misunderstood all the time. So let's do a quick reality check.
See, market cap is not the whole story, not even close. It's just one piece of a much bigger puzzle. For instance, there's another metric called enterprise value that gives you a better idea of a theoretical takeover price because it adds in a company's debt but subtracts its cash. Then you have book value, which is pretty much just the company's on-paper net worth from an accounting standpoint. It all boils down to this. Market cap tells you the price of a company's equity, its stock, not the price of the entire business, warts and all, including its debt.
So let's bring this all together. Market cap is an incredibly powerful tool for a quick first look, but it is not the whole story. And if you're going to use it wisely, you absolutely have to understand its limits.
So yeah, it's a powerful tool, but man, it's got some serious limitations. Like we just said, it completely ignores a company's debt. You could have a company with a massive market cap that's just drowning in debt. It also tells you absolutely nothing about whether the company is actually profitable. And maybe most important of all, a high market cap does not mean a stock is a good buy.
It could just be inflated by a speculative bubble. Remember, it's a measure of market perception, not necessarily fundamental real-world worth.
And that leaves us with the biggest, most important question of all. Market cap shows you the price. It's the number the entire market agrees on right here, right now. But your job as an investor is to figure out the value. And those two things, they are not always the same.
All right, welcome. When you think about the financial world, it can feel, well, huge, right? Like this massive, uncharted territory. Well, today we're going to grab our map and compass and go on a bit of a guided tour. Our map for this journey is something called Market Capitalization. It's the tool that helps us navigate this vast landscape of companies from the tiny startups all the way up to the global giants. So let's unfold this map and get started.
So let me ask you something. When you hear that a company is big, what does that actually mean? Is it about how many employees they have, the size of their headquarters? In the world of investing, big is actually defined by a single, really powerful number.
And that number is market capitalization, or as you'll hear it called all the time, market cap. It's simply the total value of all of a company's shares added together. Think of it like this. You just take the current price of one share and multiply it by the total number of shares that exist. That's it. It's the standard ruler that everyone uses to measure a company's size, and it's the key to our entire map.
Okay, so now that we have our map, let's actually start exploring its different regions. The market isn't just one giant city. It's more like a whole continent with very distinct territories. And each of these territories has its own character, its own risks, and its own opportunities. Let's take a closer look at these 4 key regions.
So our map is pretty much divided into 4 main zones. Way up at the top, you've got the megacaps. These are the global super cities, the absolute titans of their industries. Then you have the large caps, which are like the big, established metropolitan areas of the market. Next up are the mid caps, kind of like growing cities that offer a nice balance of growth and stability. And finally, you have the small caps. Think of these as the frontier towns. Yeah, they have high growth potential, but they also come with a lot more volatility.
And this is where the scale becomes truly mind-boggling. I mean, it's one thing to hear the terms, but a visual like this really drives the point home. The gap between a small cap and a large cap is already huge, but the leap to a mega cap, that's on another level entirely. It's a really powerful way to see just how incredibly varied this landscape is.
Of course, this map of ours isn't static. Not at all. It's constantly being redrawn by these really powerful forces. A company's size today is absolutely no guarantee of its size tomorrow. So what are these, let's call them the tectonic plates of the market, that cause all these changes?
Well, there are 4 key drivers that are always redrawing this map. First, you've got the obvious one. Daily stock price fluctuations changing a company's value every single second. Then you have big corporate actions, like when a company decides to buy back its own shares. You've also got the big picture economic factors, things like interest rates or recessions that affect the entire market. And finally, there's pure and simple market sentiment, the collective optimism and fear of millions of investors.
Let's just zoom in on one of those corporate actions. When a company buys back its own stock, it's basically shrinking its borders. There are fewer shares out there, which concentrates the value. On the flip side, when it issues new shares, it's like it's expanding into new territory, increasing the supply. Both of these actions directly redraw a company's footprint on our market map. Now, beyond what individual companies do, there's the overall economic climate. Think of it like the weather patterns that affect the entire map. An economic boom is like sunny weather for some regions, while a recession, well, that can be a harsh winter for others.
For example, during a bull market, when confidence is high and people are optimistic, those smaller high-growth companies can just expand like crazy. But in a bear market, when fear takes over, those same small companies can be the ones that get hit the hardest. Investors often retreat to the safety of the larger, more defensive companies, think utilities, which kind of act like shelters in a storm.
So we have our map, and we understand the forces that can change it. But here's the crucial part. Like any map, it's a guide. It is not the whole story. A smart navigator knows its limitations. They know what the map doesn't show.
The thing is, market cap is just the tip of the iceberg. It's what you see above the water. It's the price the market is willing to pay right at this moment. But it doesn't show you what's lurking beneath the surface, a company's debt, its cash reserves, or the health of its actual day-to-day business. All of that can be hidden, while the price on top is just being swayed by short-term hype and fear.
And that really brings us to the most important takeaway here.
Market cap is an essential starting point. It's an indispensable tool for your navigation kit. But it's not the only one. A wise investor uses it alongside other tools to get a full 360-degree view of a company.
And that leaves us with one final, crucial question to think about. Market cap shows us the price that the market has decided to put on a company. But as we all know, price and value are not always the same thing. The real quest for any investor is to look past that price tag to find a company's true underlying value. And that, well, that's a journey for another day.
You've heard the term market cap thrown around 1,000 times, right? But what does it actually mean? Well, today we're going to unlock its hidden power and find out why this one little number is one of the most vital tools in any investor's kit.
You know, you see a headline that some company is now worth $2–3 trillion. It's just a mind-boggling number. But what does a price tag like that actually tell you? Is it just bragging rights? Or is there a much deeper story being told?
And that's really the key. You got to stop thinking of market cap as just a price tag. Think of it more like a Swiss Army knife for investors, a powerful multi-tool. So in this explainer, let's open up that toolbox and see exactly what we can do with it. Okay, first tool out of the box. This one is all about building your strategy. Let's dig into how market cap can help you build an investment portfolio that's actually tailored to you. It really starts with a pretty simple idea. Not all companies are the same size. We've got our small caps, our mid caps, and then the giants, the large caps. And the real magic is in how you decide to mix and match these to create a strategy that fits your own goals.
So you've basically got two main paths you can take. Over here on the left, you've got the aggressive approach. You're loading up on small and mid-cap stocks, really chasing that high growth potential. On the right, it's the more conservative route. You're leaning on the big, stable mega caps for their stability and, of course, those steady dividends. Which one is for you? It all comes down to how much risk you're comfortable with.
And this chart, it just nails that classic risk versus return trade-off. Look at that high bar for small caps. Yeah, that's the shot at huge returns, but it comes with a ton of volatility. Then you see the lower bar for large caps, much more stable, but maybe more modest growth. It's a balancing act every single investor has to figure out for themselves.
You know, market cap is also the secret ingredient behind index investing. Think about it. Big indexes like the S&P 500 are weighted by market cap. That means the biggest companies have the most impact. And those ETFs you hear about, they often just copy these indexes, which gives you a super simple way to get diversified across an entire piece of the market with just one purchase.
All right, let's grab our second tool. Market cap isn't just for building a portfolio, it's actually the first step, the starting point, for figuring out what a company is really worth.
Now, this is a really important point. Market cap is basically a snapshot of public opinion. It's what other investors are willing to pay for that stock right now. But to get the whole story, you've got to pop the hood and look a little deeper. So this is where we start pulling in some other metrics to answer specific questions. Like, if you want to know a company's total worth, including all its debt and cash, you look at enterprise value. Or maybe you're curious how its stock price stacks up against its actual profits. Well, that's where the PE ratio comes in. Each metric adds another crucial layer to your analysis.
And you know what? Context is absolutely everything. A huge market cap for a tech startup might be totally justified because everyone's betting on its future growth. But for, say, a mature utility company, you'd expect a much more stable market cap that's tied to its reliable, consistent dividends. Market cap helps you compare apples to apples within the same playground.
Okay, time for our final tool. We're going global with this one, because market cap is your compass for navigating the huge, sometimes complicated, world of international investing.
This is what I think is market cap's superpower. It's a universal language. It seriously doesn't matter if a company is based in Silicon Valley or Shanghai, its market cap gives us a standard way to measure its size and its influence on the world stage.
And that universal language tells us a pretty powerful story. Of course, you've got the huge US tech giants, but look closer and you'll see global powerhouses like Reliance and TCS from India making their way up the ranks. It's like watching a real-time map of how economic power is shifting around the globe. So, investors use this global view to balance their portfolios. They have to ask themselves, do I want the stability of the mega-cap companies in developed markets? Or am I hunting for that higher growth potential that you often find with these smaller cap companies in emerging markets?
So we've seen how powerful this tool is. But with great power comes, you know the line, great responsibility. The real trick is knowing how to use this thing wisely.
Right. It's so important to remember what market cap doesn't tell you. It has no idea about a company's debt, its cash flow, or if it's even profitable. It's just a reflection of what the market feels, and sometimes those feelings are fueled by pure hype, not by solid fundamentals. Just think back to the dot-com bubble, when insane market caps had almost nothing to do with reality.
So how do you avoid those traps? Here's a quick playbook. 1. Never use it in a vacuum. Always pair it with a deep dive into the company's financials. 2. Understand the industry context. 3. Keep an eye on market sentiment and volatility. And 4. If you're investing globally, you absolutely have to account for currency changes.
If you take one thing away from all this, let it be this. Market cap is so much more than a number. It's an active, strategic tool that shapes how investors, how companies, and how entire markets make critical decisions every single day.
So the next time you see one of those jaw-dropping market cap numbers in a headline, you'll know. It's not just a number, it's a story. And now you have the tools to actually read it. So the question is, what story is the market telling you?